You're Cara.
I am, and you are?
Bryan.
And we're about to read a story about?
Rabbits.
Welcome back to Tales from the Trunk.
The story today is called Rosie Rabbit Loves Carrots.
And it's a Brymax classic.
Rosie Rabbit Loves Carrots. A Brymax classic.
No matter how much grass Rosie Rabbit ate, she was always hungry. Her tummy would rumble and gurgle and make all kinds of strange noises. If I have to eat one more blade of grass, I think I'll be sick, sighed Rosie one day. It's so boring and tasteless and grassy.
Rosie hopped around for ages, but all she could see for miles around was grass. There was long grass, short grass, green grass, and even a few patches of brown grass.
Then, just as she was about to go back to her burrow, Rosie saw a little caterpillar on the ground. I wonder if you would taste nice to eat, said Rosie, creeping up to the caterpillar.
Oh no, I would taste awful, said the caterpillar. Please don't eat me.
The caterpillar looked so small and sweet. Rosie didn't have the heart to eat it. On your way and have a nice day, smiled Rosie. As Rosie bounced through some long grass, she spotted a winding path. I'll hop along this path and see where it takes me, smiled Rosie. Perhaps it will lead me to something nice to eat.
The path twisted and turned and seemed to go on for a very long way.
So far, all I've seen today is grass, sighed Rosie Rabbit.
Then she hopped on a little further. At last, the winding path led Rosie to a big, old barn. But the door was locked. Rosie walked around the barn, searching for another way to get inside.
Soon, Rosie found a hole in the side of the barn, just big enough for her to squeeze through. I wonder what's in this big old barn, said Rosie as she wriggled through the hole. I hope I don't find any angry mice or hooting owls that want to chase me away.
But there were no angry mice or hooting owls inside the barn. Tucked away in a corner, Rosie saw a big box filled to the top with juicy apples.
I love apples, grinned Rosie happily. Making herself comfortable on a pile of straw, Rosie picked up the biggest apple she could find and began to munch. I think I might have one more apple before I go on my way, said Rosie.
When Rosie had munched her last apple down to the core, she decided to see what else she could find in the barn. It didn't take the young rabbit long to spot a sack full of carrots.
I love carrots more than anything else in the world, smiled Rosie, picking up two of the biggest, crunchiest carrots she could find.
Rosie ate the 2 carrots and decided she still had enough room in her tummy for 2 more before she went on her way. But after eating 2 big, juicy apples and 4 big, crunchy carrots, Rosie was still feeling peckish. She hopped over to another corner in the barn and discovered some boxes of crispy cabbage.
Maybe I will stop to eat a few leaves of this delicious cabbage before I go on my way, said Rosie. Rosie snapped off the crispy leaves and began to eat and eat and eat. Before long, she had eaten 6 big, crispy cabbages.
Having eaten all those apples and carrots and cabbages, Rosie was full up.
What a wonderful time I've had, smiled Rosie as she leaned against the barn wall. After all, it's not every day a young rabbit gets to eat so much tasty food.
But as Rosie struggled to get up and go home, she let out a groan.
Oh, I wish my tummy didn't ache, cried Rosie. I think I've eaten too much.
With her tummy bulging, Rosie had to walk very slowly along the winding path all the way home. At last, Rosie reached the burrow where she lived with her mother.
I've eaten too much and now I've got really bad tummy ache, sighed Rosie.
Then you shouldn't have been so greedy, said Mother Rabbit.
I've certainly learnt my lesson, sighed Rosie. I will never be greedy again.
Have you ever eaten so much that you got a stomach ache?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, me too.
But
it's not clever.
Something in particular gives you stomach aches.
What's that?
If you eat too many raw carrots.
Yes, they do. Because carrots are full of fibre.
So they're good for you, but remember, don't have too many.
Ooh, ow, gives you bad stomach.
Have a good night, sleep tight, and we'll see you next time on Tales from the Trunk.
Bye-bye.